El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera is loud,
This I swear!
wild, and full of over-the-top chaos. But behind all the jokes, robot arms, and battles between good and evil lies a story that's far deeper than it appears. It's not just about a boy with a magical belt. It's about legacy, identity, family, and the impossible pressure of choosing between heroism and villainy. This is the story of a young boy caught between two worlds. A world where his father, the heroic White Pantera, expects him to fight for justice, and a world where his grandfather, the sinister Puma Loco, tempts him with power and fame. It's a journey filled with hard decisions, explosive battles, and a whole lot of lucha-style madness. So grab your belt, charge up your arm cannon, and prepare yourself. This is the full story of El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. Let's dive on into Miracle City.
Assemble!
Manny Rivera dreams of being a legendary hero like his father, Rodolfo aka White Pantera. But waiting around for greatness is boring. Freda convinces Manny to borrow the bronze boots of truth, which grant his abilities. They enjoy using them all night, but accidentally break them. To hide the damage, Freda distracts Rodolfo and Grandpapi with a song. Later, Rodolfo tries to stop a robbery, but fails without his working boots and is badly beaten. Ashamed, he stops superhero work for 30 days. Hungry and mischievous, Manny and Freda steal from a school fundraiser to buy a DIY tattoo kit, pretending it's for justice. But karma strikes fast when the guacamole they replace the cash with mutates into a monstrous blob. As Miracle City faces a guac-apocalypse, Manny tries to hide his guilt, but the truth and the guac refuses to stay buried. With Freda's help, Manny battles the gooey beast and restores order, but not before facing his father's disappointment. This episode kicks off El Tigre's core theme, Manny's constant pull between doing what's cool and doing what's right, and the cost of each. Manny meets the mysterious and rebellious Zoe Avas, aka Black Cuervo, daughter of the villainous Flock of Fury. She's cool, dangerous, and totally into El Tigre's wilder side. Freda instantly feels pushed aside, torn between being the daring anti-hero Cuervo flirts with, or the loyal friend Freda deserves. Manny wavers. He joins Cuervo on a rooftop heist, thrilling in the chaos until it spins out of control. Freda confronts him with hurt in her voice, and Manny sees the fallout of chasing coolness. Ultimately, he chooses friendship over flirtation, but Cuervo leaves a mark on him, and the question of his future path deepens. Manny wants new Luxblade skates, but his dad won't pay unless he earns them. Instead of honest work, Manny and Freda become bounty hunters for missing pets. Their antics lead them to Calavera, a ghost town crawling with villains. The duo rescues a wealthy girl's chihuahua, but not before tangling with mummified mobsters and greedy rewards. In a moment of reflection, Manny realizes chasing cash fast isn't as thrilling as earning respect. He gets the skates, but learns they're not as satisfying as saving the day. Greed almost swayed him, but once again, his better nature claws its way back. Rodolfo coaches the Miracle City Matadors, but after they're badly defeated in their first game, Manny suggests cheating like the other teams. Rodolfo refuses, valuing honor over victory. Grandpapi recalls his own Matador days, swearing to beat the undefeated Calavera zombies. Wanting to win, Manny and Freda use jug band music to make Rodolfo sick, exploiting his allergy so he can't coach. Grandpapi steps in as a replacement coach. At the championship, Manny decides to play honorably without powers, but his kick fails and the team loses. Though proud of Manny's integrity, Rodolfo teaches him a final lesson: to run when angry townsfolk throw rocks. At Leone Middle School, Manny wins the chance to care for the school mascot, Zebra Donkey, over spring break despite selling only a few raffle tickets. He and Freda enjoy their time with the mascot, but panic when Zebra Donkey dies after eating banana splits. Bananas are poisonous to him. They bury him and disguise a mule to fool the school during the upcoming fiesta. When the plan fails, they steal Sartana of the Dead's magic guitar to resurrect Zebra Donkey. He returns as a zombie, but still charms the crowd. In the final battle, Zebra Donkey sacrifices himself by destroying the guitar, but is later revived by a magic string. Miracle City faces total destruction as Titanium Titan returns, fueled by vengeance and new armor. Manny and Freda realize the villain plans to take down all heroes, including White Pantera. The fight is epic, rooftop battles and giant hands to make everything even. As Manny joins the fray, he struggles between helping his dad and showing off. When his recklessness nearly gets Freda hurt, he wakes up. With teamwork and humility, he helps Pantera defeat Titan. But the damage leaves a mark. Miracle City's faith in heroes is shaken. Manny learns that being flashy won't save the day. Heart and sacrifice will. Manny, Freda, Rodolfo, Grandpapi, and El Oso crash into the Rivera home after stopping El Oso from stealing a priceless black platinum diamond pearl using the super macho chain capture. With the house in disarray, Rodolfo announces that Manny's mother, Maria Rivera, is coming to visit, prompting panic. When El Oso questions why her visit is such a big deal, the Rivera men explain. Maria once supported Rodolfo as White Pantera until witnessing him get badly injured in battle. Traumatized, she demanded he quit, but Rodolfo refused, leading Maria to leave him and Manny to pursue a global mariachi career. Since then, Grandpapi moved in, and Manny got his El Tigre belt, something Maria never discovered. Now, the family must clean up and hide all signs of superhero activity before she arrives. After maxing out their detention limit, Manny and Freda are forced to volunteer at Casa de Adios, a retirement home for elderly supervillains. There, they befriend Comrade Chaos, Mano Negra, and El Tarantula, who tell them that Sartana of the Dead cruelly stole all their loot. Wanting to help, El Tigre and Freda agree to retrieve it. However, during their mission, Sartana and her skeleton bandidos capture Freda, leaving Manny no choice but to team up with the old villains. Together, they launch a daring rescue to save Freda and reclaim the stolen treasure, proving the seniors still have fight left in them. After repeated tardiness, Manny and Freda are warned by Vice Principal Chacal that one more late arrival will get them expelled. Chacal takes charge while Principal Tonino is away, and delights in informing their furious parents of the situation. Manny faces being sent to charm school in Switzerland, while Freda would end up in military school. Desperate, they plan a temptation-free route to school, but are attacked by Señor Siniestro. During the chaos, Manny saves a bus and uses an explosive blast to launch himself to school just in time. Though they succeed, the pressure to be punctual now looms all year. After being banned from the arcade, Manny and Freda are desperate for weekend fun and overhear a rumor about a party in an abandoned desert house. Excited, they accidentally invite the entire school. However, when they arrive, the party is actually a weekly game night hosted by a group of nerdy role-playing gamers. To make matters worse, the house isn't abandoned at all. It's the hidden headquarters of the dreaded Mustache Mafia. Now, stuck in a lair full of villains with a crowd of confused classmates, Manny and Freda must figure out how to escape before things spiral completely out of control. Wanting to experience the perks of adulthood, Manny becomes obsessed with growing a mustache. After several failed attempts, he turns to the villainous doctor, Chipotle Jr., who offers to help using a mustache-growing machine. The result is a magnificent mustache Manny names Raul, which gives him confidence and status as he begins living like a true grown-up. However, Manny soon discovers that while he was distracted, Dr. Chipotle Jr. stole his El Tigre belt and used it to commit a spree of crimes. Now, Manny must reclaim his stolen belt and face the consequences of trusting a villain for Vanity. Worried that his father Rodolfo might kick Grandpapi out of the house for being a bad influence, Manny teams up with Freda to secretly make Grandpapi look like a hero. They begin staging good deeds in his name, hoping to improve his reputation. As the public and Rodolfo start seeing Puma Loco as a reformed man, Grandpapi becomes deeply confused and unsettled. Being praised for actions he doesn't remember doing leaves him shaken, especially since it clashes with his identity as a legendary supervillain. Manny soon realizes that pretending to change someone can have real consequences for their sense of self. At the 200th annual celebration of heroes, Rodolfo is excited to attend with Manny, but things go south when a hero meter can't decide if Manny is good or evil. He's denied entry, and Rodolfo sadly goes in alone. Sartana of the Dead traps all the heroes inside with a magical dome, leaving Manny as Miracle City's last hope. After battling villains and stealing back Quetzalcoatl's stone from Sartana, Manny uses a trick he learned from Grandpapi, hiding the stone up his nose to beat her in a game. With Freda's help, they destroy her guitar and free the heroes, earning Manny real respect. It's the Day of the Dead, and Miracle City honors its greatest heroes. Manny expects to be praised until he's told he's not on the guest list. His actions are too inconsistent, sometimes heroic, sometimes selfish. While sulking, Sartana unleashes an attack that captures every honored hero. With no one else left, Manny rises. He dons the belt, rallies misfit kids and street animals, and stages a surprise rescue. It's messy, wild, and very El Tigre. The heroes are saved, but the public's still unsure about him. Manny doesn't care. For the first time, he acts selflessly, and it feels right. A villain's taunt shakes Manny to the core, claiming his father, White Pantera, once ran from a fight. Manny laughs it off until he discovers it's true. Devastated, Manny confronts Rodolfo, who shamefully admits it happened when he froze up against El Marvarde. Manny sees his heroic dad as human for the first time, and he hates it. But when Elmar Varde attacks again, Manny watches Rodolfo stand tall, despite his fear, to protect the city. It's messy, it's scary, but it's brave. Manny realizes real courage isn't about being fearless, it's about doing the right thing, even when you're terrified. The seventh samurai arrives in Miracle City with his polite and disciplined 10-year-old son, Toshiro Watanabe, aka Cyber Sumo. Toshiro must defeat a real villain to be recognized as a hero in his family's tradition. Rodolfo volunteers Manny to pretend to be that villain so Toshiro can succeed. But Manny's ego kicks in, and he refuses to lose easily, turning the staged fight into a chaotic brawl. Their battle escalates dangerously with Cyber Sumo's advanced tech. Eventually, both boys realize they're just trying to impress their dads, and they make peace, earning respect from both their fathers. Manny and Freda are grounded for misbehaving and forced to do awful chores instead of attending the Festival of Flammable Things. They meet Davi, Manny's biggest fan, who calls himself the Albino Burrito and wants to be a superhero apprentice. Manny tricks him into doing their chores by pretending it is superhero training. Things spiral out of control when Davi touches Grandpappy's forbidden monkey staff and accidentally activates a giant robot that begins destroying the town. Using his training and his surprisingly real power piñata of punishment, Davi defeats the robot. The town cheers, but Rodolfo catches on and punishes Manny and Freda again. During Miracle City Crime Night, Sartana attacks with monsters, and the Riveras transform to fight, except Freda, who keeps getting hurt trying to help. After being blasted into a bear cage and humiliated on TV, Freda steals Manny's El Tigre belt and becomes Latigresa, secretly defeating the monsters. When Sartana mocks her on video, Freda steals the belt again but is captured mid-battle. Manny rescues her, learning she's La Tigresa. Freda defeats Sartana using a potato, proving she didn't need powers to be a hero. The duo crash into the bear cage again, where Freda is promptly swallowed. Manny sighs, "Less talking, more Heimliching." Freda skips hanging out with Manny to prepare for the Battle of the Bands, but agrees to visit the arcade for just 5 minutes. They end up playing for 5 hours. On the way home, they run into Sartana of the Dead, who's stealing Miracle City's platinum. Manny becomes El Tigre, and with Freda's help, fights her banditos. Sartana blasts him before escaping, and Freda spots his embarrassing zebra donkey underwear. She promises not to tell. The next day, Freda joins her band, the Atomic Sombreros, on stage, but hasn't written a song. The crowd boos as she panics in silence. A mysterious letter invites Manny and Puma Loco to the secret Supervillain Grand Prix, a chaotic, no-rules death race across Miracle City. Freda sneaks along for the ride, disguised as a squirrel. Manny's thrilled until he learns that if they lose, Puma Loco will be banished from the city forever. As tricked-out villains race with spikes, lasers, and haunted engines, Manny faces moral whiplash. Cheat like a villain or lose like a hero? In the final stretch, he risks everything for a clean win. Against all odds, they pull it off. Barely. Victory tastes sweet, but trust in Puma Loco? Still bitter. When Raul, the living mustache, is accused of a string of robberies, Manny refuses to believe it. Determined to prove his innocence, he goes undercover in the Mustache Mafia. Yes, they're real. And quickly discovers a web of fuzzy betrayal. As he climbs the ranks, he starts to suspect Raul might actually be guilty, until he uncovers the real culprit. A rogue toupee with a vendetta. The final fight involves shaving cream, hot wax, and more screaming than anyone expected. Raul's name is cleared, and Manny realizes true loyalty means fighting for someone, even when everyone else thinks they're guilty. Puma Loco drops a bombshell. He's marrying Sartana of the Dead. Manny and Freda are horrified. Not only is she pure evil, but this would make her family. Determined to stop the wedding, they launch Operation Breakup. Their sabotage includes sabotaging the cake, releasing doves full of bees, and staging a fake ghost of Sartana's first husband. Nothing works. But at the altar, Sartana gets cold feet. She realizes she prefers villainy over domestic bliss. She vanishes in a storm of flaming mariachis, leaving Puma Loco at the altar. Manny's relieved, but oddly sympathetic. Love, even among villains, is never simple. At Casa de Adios, El Tigre wins a glass eye from Lady Gobbler, unaware it's a spy camera. He gifts it to Rodolfo, who proudly wears it, not knowing the flock of fury is watching. They humiliate him and get his superhero license revoked. Using the camera against them, Manny fakes a plan to lure them into kidnapping Maria, who turns out to be Grandpappy in disguise. The Riveras ambush the villains with help from Freda, puppets, and clever teamwork. Rodolfo gets reinstated, and Manny jokes about being grounded until 30, only to actually be shown 17 years later, still grounded. Rodolfo invites Manny to fight crime, but Manny dodges the offer when feelings are mentioned. Soon, Titanium Titan saves Manny and Freda from a robot, claiming he's reformed. Rodolfo's truth boots confirm it, and they team up. At Titan's HQ, Freda discovers he's still evil with a shrine for Rodolfo, an anti-shrine for Manny, and insults aimed at her. Titan's plan was to win Rodolfo back and destroy Manny. With help from Freda and Rodolfo, they fight back using the robot. Titan escapes on a squid, only to be eaten by a whale. Rodolfo again offers Manny bonding time. Manny flees. On Dia de los Muertos, Sartana summons the army of forgotten dead to trap the Riveras in the land of the dead. Manny and Freda are pulled into a surreal world of skeletons and spirits, while Rodolfo and Puma Loco remain haunted above ground. Guided by the spirits of El Tigre's ancestors, heroes and villains alike, Manny must prove the duality of his heritage to return home. As cities fade and souls waver, he confronts his deepest fears, learning that collaboration, even across generations, is what saves the living. In a heart-rending finale, Manny leads them back to life. Manny reluctantly becomes sidekick to Davi, a hyper-enthusiastic wannabe hero who saved his neck in an earlier incident. Davi treats Manny like a personal assistant, fetching burritos, cleaning superhero tools, and never letting him relax. At first, Manny resents it, but when a crisis strikes, Davy steps up in unexpected bravery. Manny learns that heroism doesn't always come with experience, it comes from heart. The duo surprises everyone by succeeding in a perilous rooftop rescue. Manny thanks him sincerely, humbled. It's a lesson in humility, leadership, and appreciating the unlikely heroes who follow you. Manny, Freda, and Rodolfo are recruited by the globe-trotting League of Alliance Society to hunt a mystical creature known as the Dragon Worm. Manny jumps at the chance to join the elite team, excited by their high-tech gear and heroic status. But when the League's real motive is revealed, using El Tigre as bait for the creature, Manny faces a tough choice. Freda and Rodolfo help him realize that heroism isn't about fancy gadgets, but doing what's right. In a thrilling underground showdown, Manny breaks free from manipulation and chooses to be his own kind of hero. In San Pueblito, Cactus Kid robs businesses and soon ends up under Puma Loco's wing. When mocked as a joke, Cactus Kid's anger unleashes Cactus Warriors, turning him from a wannabe into a real threat. He confronts Manny and Puma Loco, hurling them from their home and commanding his army to strike. Cornered, Puma Loco finally supports Manny's heroism. Manny uses dirty tricks to beat Cactus Kid, earning praise from his grandpa. Defeated but grateful, Cactus Kid thanks the Riveras for the chance to be a villain and swears revenge just as Manny's dad arrives home, shocked by the chaos. Manny discovers that Maria once fought crime as the legendary hero Plata Peligrosa by wielding a mystical glove. When he tries it on, Maria is drawn back into her old persona. At first, the return to crime fighting is fun, but Maria becomes obsessed with justice, even freeing villains just to defeat them again. Chaos breaks out across Miracle City. Manny steps in to remind his mother of the strength it took to give up that life for her family. Realizing her past doesn't define her, Maria lets go of the glove, teaching Manny a powerful lesson about true strength. Sartana of the Dead announces her retirement and hosts a massive tournament to crown her successor. White Pantera and Puma Loco both expect El Tigre to fight for honor, and Manny wants the Mystic Guitar Prize for himself. The tournament rages across the Miracle City volcano, with tests like King of the Skull and his challenges against Django of the Dead. Manny struggles to balance his father's hero legacy and his grandfather's villainous instincts. In the end, he faces his choice: walk the heroic path or seize power. Victory rests on his heart, good or evil. Manny throws a wild party while his parents are away, purposely defying Rodolfo's rules. Left hanging when the house is trashed and money is needed to fix it, he thinks a plan. Manny and Freda sneak into supervillains' hideouts, stealing from their vaults and piling up loot. At first they feel clever as the nickels add up, but guilt soon catches up. When they return everything with apologies, Manny realizes that trust and family matter more than quick riches. Rodolfo forgives him. And though the mess remains, Manny's integrity begins to rebuild itself. In a mostly silent visual episode, the Rivera family's parrot and donkey take center stage. Their comet toy becomes lost, triggering a series of zoo-style chase sequences across Miracle City, goats, roosters, and officials all getting involved. It's a physical comedy showcase with no dialogue, capturing the city's rhythm and the family's love for chaotic pets. When the toy finally returns, the pets celebrate and Manny and Freda watch from afar, reminded that even in silent moments, community and connection speak volumes. While it doesn't add anything to the story, it's still a real fun episode. Manny feels stuck in his father's shadow and disrespect. To regain Rodolfo's pride, he pretends to date Black Cuervo in order to gather intel on her family's crimes. Cuervo uses him for chaos, and soon danger looms. Manny sneaks stolen information back to Rodolfo, but he confesses in horror when he sees how hurt Cuervo is. Furious, she attacks him before fleeing with her family. Rodolfo scolds Manny for manipulation, and Manny admits he wanted to win approval. They watch as Cuervo vanishes, unresolved, and Manny learns that respect cannot be earned through deceit. Freda wakes up draped in zombie slang and shambling through school with a glowing brain parasite clinging to her skull. Manny lets her mask it under a hat so she can make it through class, but Freda starts acting more undead each minute, craving brains and moaning. As El Tigre, Manny tries to yank the creature off her head, but Grandpappy interrupts, explaining the zombie's jaws are too strong for brute force. They race against time to the fountain of Agua Negra in Zombie Town. Only by dunking Freda in its dark water before sundown can they save her. Freda joins the Miracle City Junior Police Cadets to impress her cop father. With ambition, she begins taking credit for El Tigre's heroic actions. Before long, she's restricting civilian freedoms, chasing petty crimes, and losing sight of justice. Manny confronts her. Power without empathy becomes injustice. Freda realizes policing isn't about badges, it's about service. She dismantles her own badge empire and apologizes to citizens she wrongly targeted. Manny and Freda reconcile under neon lights. She joins the cadets again, but this time with heart. He learns leaders need humility. Badges don't define heroism, choices do. Manny and Freda find themselves inside the head of a gargantuan robot, giant robot Sanchez, while battling him. They're surprised to discover he's actually a loving robotic father whose mechanical kids were being manipulated by villain handlers. Trapped in circuits and wires, they navigate emotional and literal gears to free his family. Manny empathizes, speaking to Robot Dad's programmed heart. They shut down the hacking villains, restore Sanchez's parental memory, and reunite the robot family. Manny learns heroism sometimes means turning enemies into allies, and even machines deserve compassion. Maria reawakens her old superhero persona, Plata Peligrosa, when Manny discovers her hidden power glove. Her return is thrilling but short-lived. At first, she fights villains with Manny and Freda cheering her on. Yet power takes hold, and she frees criminals just for the fun of battling them. Rodolfo watches his wife slip away into hero mania, and Manny realizes her obsession is dangerous. In a tense moment, Maria chooses family over fame and removes the glove. The city is saved, and Maria embraces being mom again. Manny learns that even heroes need boundaries. Manny adopts a baby Chupacabrazilla named Chewy, thinking he can care for it. At first, Chewy is cute, snuggling and cooing, but chaos erupts when goats across Miracle City vanish. Freda and Manny discover Chewy is the culprit and try to stop him. Authorities threaten to arrest Chewy, but Manny pleads for his friend. Though heartbroken, Manny releases Chewy into the wilderness. Chewy returns one last time to help Manny escape danger, then vanishes. In that moment, Manny understands that loving someone sometimes means letting them go, for their own good and the good of the city. Freda arrives at school as two rivals show up with big declarations of love. Señor Siniestro and Dr. Chipotle Jr. both vie for her affection. Each plots to remove Manny from the equation, staging robotic calamities and over-the-top distractions. Manny tries to confront them, but gets swarmed by villainous schemes. Freda, amused rather than impressed, finally calls both suitors out in front of the school. Realizing they are acting like children competing for attention, she remains firm in her independence. The rivals retreat in defeat. Freda and Manny end the day with friendship intact and drama diffused. When the school dance arrives, Manny and Freda adamantly refuse to go together. To friend dated, they declare. Instead, Manny aims to impress the trio of notorious bad girls, while Freda settles for Sergio's promise of free homework for life. Grandpa introduces Manny to over-the-top dating tactics from his secret love files, including dinosaur costumes and dramatic serenades. The bad girls aren't impressed. They beat Manny up circus style. Freda drops Sergio when she sees how Manny ends up, and they reluctantly decide going together is better. The dance turns out lame, but they steal the night with their own moves. Friendship intact. El Oso robs a bank and nearly crushes Manny and Freda in the chaos. Yet when a pillar collapses, El Tigre heroically rescues them. El Oso intervenes again, saving everyone, and promises a payoff day for a future favor. At El Oso's cave in Calavera, he shares his origin. Abandoned at an orphan camp, raised by bears, and now in love with a bear princess, forbidden to him. Feeling empathy, Manny and Freda agree to help him win her heart. Their mission begins with bear diplomacy and comedic misfires. Heroism with heart, not just fists. Silver Wolf rides into Miracle City on a glowing motorcycle, winning over the townspeople with his cool attitude and mysterious persona. Freda is completely smitten and quickly trades in her time with Manny to hang out with the newcomer. Manny tries to win her back, but finds himself constantly outshined. At a concert, Silver Wolf drops the act and reveals he is really Titanium Titan in disguise. In a final showdown at the junkyard, Manny defeats him by trapping him in a car crusher. Freda realizes her mistake and chooses Manny, proving real friendship means more than flashy appearances. Freda and Manny arrive at school to learn they've been paired with Zoe Aves for the science fair, Freda's longtime rival. Suspicious of Zoe's secretive behavior, Freda and Manny investigate and suspect she is secretly Black Cuervo. Throughout the day, they gather clues. Zoe's odd timing, her villainous contacts, and her mysterious comings and goings. At the fair, they confront her, forcing Zoe to reveal her dual life. Freda bristles while Manny is conflicted by attraction and betrayal. The incident cements trust between Manny and Freda and strengthens their bond against dark secrets in Miracle City. At the arcade, Carla and Carlito lie about a mutant gorilla attack just to clear the place and play games. When Manny questions the fake emergency, the twins shamelessly admit they exploit their heroic image for fun, leaving Manny and Freda stunned and curious to learn their tricks. After a chaotic crash, the twins are hailed as heroes again, while Manny, mistaken for a reckless kid in a tiger costume, wakes up injured. Though Rodolfo believes his innocence, everyone else blames him. The twist hits hard when Manny realizes he's not recovering in a hospital, but locked up in a prison cell. Manny trains with Rodolfo while Freda spectates from a donkey-powered treadmill. After teasing his father's Pantera Bando technique, Manny feels guilty and rushes with Freda to buy glitter for a Father's Day card. At the store, he fights Chipotle Jr. for the last bag, and they bond over disappointing their dads. Freda jokingly suggests a fake kidnapping to impress them. They go through with it, but Chipotle Jr. double-crosses Manny. Rodolfo learns of Manny's role and feels betrayed. To make things right, Manny uses the goofy Pantera Bando, tutu and all, to defeat the Chipotles. They crash into prison and spend Father's Day with Grandpappy. A mustached dog shows up at Manny's door. It's Raul, the world's greatest mustache, asking Manny to be his wingman so he can date the girl he loves. Manny agrees, only to find out the awful surprise. The unattractive Sophia is his date, not Raul's. Sophia is clingy, aggressive, and forces Manny through yak stew and cactus vests. Freda tries coaching them through more terrible dates. After getting slapped and nearly kissed, Manny finally confesses he never liked her. Sophia's the Don's granddaughter. Chaos erupts. Raul marries Browsia. Everyone screams in pain as the mustaches rip off their faces. While admiring his insect-shaped artifact collection, Grandpappy Rivera realizes he needs only the cursed silver scorpion to complete it. Learning it's on loan to Manny's school and that Manny got in trouble for a toilet prank on Vice Principal Chacal, Grandpappy seizes the opportunity. He pretends to re-enroll as a student to steal the artifact. Chacal suspects his motive, but Manny makes a risky deal. If Grandpappy even touches the scorpion, Manny will transfer to a reform school in the South Pole. Grandpappy is horrified to find tight security guarding the artifact, now knowing any theft attempt could doom Manny's future. Rodolfo catches Manny and Grandpappy stealing the City Hall dome, destroying the building and landing the Rivera family in court. Forced into family counseling, they surrender their mystic items to Dr. Butterman and spiral into powerless misery. Crime takes over Miracle City, and even without powers, the Riveras try and fail to stop it. When supervillains attack, they beg for their items back. Butterman relents, but the family gets each other's gear, causing chaos. After Freda reminds them to work together, they combine powers and defeat El Malverde. Villains are vanquished, the city cheers, and Manny declares Familia forever as they soar skyward. And this puts Manny and his troublesome family story to a conclusion. Interested in what I do? Considering dropping a like on this video and subscribe to my channel to keep an eye out for more recaps like this.